Welcome back everyone, 2D Live here, and I hope you're ready for some wonderful and wonky times of some good old anime review. Today we're going to be diving right on into 7 Deadly Sins. I went to go look for a poster and realized I don't have one up, but hey look, I got a cool new One Punch Man poster, so that's pretty rad. But anyways, let's jump on into episode 15, season 2, The Bloodcurdling Confession. And as soon as I heard that name, I was like, alright, I'm ready for some epic stuff to go down, and I was not disappointed. And the first 30 seconds, they open up with Dreyfus and then another member of the Pleiades of the Azure Sky. And we soon find out that this man is no other than the leader of actually the Pleiades of the Azure Sky. And his name is Denzel Leonis. That's right, he's actually the younger brother to Barter Leonis, the king of the kingdom. So we get this really cool scene where Denzel and Dreyfus are in this room, this really big room alone. Dreyfus is sitting tied up to a chair with chains behind him. And then you have Denzel kind of right in front of him talking to him. And he's basically like, you know what, I'm going to cut the bull crap. I'm getting right down to it. You're possessed. We used to be good friends, but we're no longer good friends. I'm sorry it has to go this way, but the real Dreyfus would want it to go this way. He takes out a sword. It's not his main weaponry sword. We see that. That one's sheathed at his side. But he takes this sword out, and he walks over behind Dreyfus, and he just rams it down his shoulder. It goes through his shoulder, probably through the side of his appendages. We've seen Dreyfus take a lot of damage before, and never before has he actually shown any noticeable pain. But right when he gets stabbed by this, he just starts hollering out in pain. And the reason why, Denzel explains, this sword has been prayed over by the droids for centuries. So I guess I would compare it to holy water with vampires. It's not the actual water that's hurting the vampires, it's the prayer of the priest, the good in the water, hurting the evil in the vampires, so it's kind of like that. The good, the gods clan kind of praying over it, hurting the demon darkness clan, okay? So that's kind of how I explain that. So, Dreyfus is just sitting there screaming, and he's like, fine, if you want to take shit seriously, let's do that. He breaks out of the chair, and granted, it's a wooden chair, it's like this chair, it's just a wooden chair. I don't know if Denzel honestly thought he was going to hold him. He breaks out of it, he just rips his chains apart, he's like, okay, fine, you want to go? Let's go. Right before they go into battle, we cut away, sadly, and we get over to Deanne's story. And I'm not going to lie, not a big fan of what's going on with Deanne. I don't like the whole idea of her losing her memory, just because we know that she's going to get her memory back. We all know that. It's not like at the end of the series, Deanne still doesn't have her memory and she's off dancing with Matrona. No. We know she's going to get her memory back. We know she's going to rejoin the 7 Deadly Sins. So I just feel like everything that's happening right now is just a little rehash of her background, which could have been done in a better way, but it's whatever. So, Deanne is actually with Matrona. If you guys remember, we haven't seen Deanne for 2-3 episodes very much, but a few episodes ago she lost her memory, Matrona found her, so Matrona brought her back to kind of her home. And we open the scene up with Matrona dancing, and we notice she has a wooden peg leg like a freaking pirate. It's just like a pirate, I love it. And she's dancing really gracefully, and she gets done. And Deanne's like, oh my word, you're so beautiful, I really want to be able to dance like you. I don't want to be a warrior, I don't want to have to do that, Matrona, I want to be able to dance like you. And Matrona's like, you know what, that's fine, you can be a dancer like me. She was very compassionate. She's changed a lot from the past. We've seen one flashback, and in that flashback she was hardcore. If you're not going to be a warrior, you're useless to us and you should just go die. Your only use in this world is to be a warrior. But now she herself is dancing, and she's okay with Deanne being a dancer as well. And I have a theory on that. But basically, Deanne's like, oh my word, that's awesome. But hey, I thought I just watched you die yesterday over at that battle. How would you survive? And Matrona just kind of states, you know that wasn't yesterday, that was 16 years ago. And then she goes on to explain how she was saved. But my biggest question is, we see in her flashback and right now, Matrona cares deeply for Deanne. She's not just another giant. She does love her kind of a mother-daughter kind of thing. So you think with a 16-year gap, she would be looking for Deanne. And maybe she was, granted, maybe she was looking for her and couldn't find her. But Deanne became a group of the 7 Deadly Sins, one of the most highly and most renowned knights in all of Britannia. You think Matrona would kind of pick up word that there's a giant in their midst, and she would be like, oh, maybe that's, Deanne, and go look for her. But she doesn't, and that's whatever. I guess Matrona's just a bad friend. So Matrona kind of explains how, after she was taken down in that battle, a human warrior came up and actually cut off her leg because it was poison. They had to amputate it. And he stayed by her side for 5-6 days, nursing her back to health. And his name was Zelpa. Zelpa, I think, was his name, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But anyways, she's like, so yeah, now I watch over him, And I watch over his 2 kids. Zelpa had like a normal human wife and had 2 kids with her, but she died. So Matrona's like, yes, so now I'm with him, and those kids are like my own kids to me. I don't think she means like, oh, I married him and I'm basically their mother-in-law. No, I think it's more of a platonic thing. I think she just views like, this man saved my life, I highly respect him, I would give my life for him, and I love him, but not in a like romantic kind of way. And she just views those children as like, I'm a mother, I want to protect them with everything I have. That kind of way, not like anything sexual or really romantic. And that's why I think she's a dancer and she's okay with Deanne becoming a dancer. You know, she's being more motherly. She's having to show a more compassionate side to these children and to Zelpa. So she is kind of stopped worrying about fighting so much, and her priorities in keeping these people safe and showing them love and nurture has kind of gone up in priority. So we have that whole confrontation and priority. So then basically, Matrona's like, okay, Deanne, if you want to be a dancer, there's a few things you have to know. Dancing in the Giant Clan is very respected. Fighting ability and just raw destructive power is probably the biggest thing Giants are known for, but also we're also known for dancing. That's a big thing that we do. And this is very important. I think this is going to play really big into the future, so just kind of pay attention here with the story she's about to give. Matrona's like, for Giants to dance, you cannot just flail your arms around in your feet like I do at prom. You have to listen to nature, listen to the animals, listen to the rivers, slow your heartbeat and make it synchronize with the land. Dance with the land, make the wind and the sun and the rays and everything flow together in harmony. That's how a true giant dances. And that is the dance of the giants that's been passed on for generations. And when she's stating this, we see this image right here of a giant dancing. And she's explaining it like this has been passed on for generations. Now look at this giant very carefully. Okay? Just remember him. I'm going to bring up 2 points later, but we're moving on. So Matrona gets done with her rant, and Dan's sitting there like, I have no idea what you mean, I just want to dance for fun. So I thought that was kind of funny. You know, Matrona kind of has that anime trope where she's like, what? But after that, you have these really weird looking birds fly through the sky, and they drop these flyers everywhere, just like hundreds of flyers. Also, that's another thing in anime where people just drop flyers everywhere. I feel like that's just a waste of paper, you know? There's only like 4 people down there. I'm assuming the bird has some type of intelligence or something, so maybe he's like, I'll save the paper and only give them 4 instead of, here's 50, have fun, killing trees. No, but anyways, in all seriousness, Matrona and Deanne look at the paper, and it's like a fighting festival held in Vaizel, and whoever wins gets a magical wish of anything they want. And Deanne and Matrona were both just like, no, I don't care, which again just kind of supports my theory, that Matrona's kind of done with the fighting life, because old Matrona would have been like, yes, this is a great opportunity to show my battle skills, and for honor, I will go fight for honor. But this Matrona's like, no, you know what, I have a family to take care of, I really don't give a crap. But the most important thing to note about this is the town this fighting festival will be held in is Vaizel. And this is the same town in Season 1 that some of the Sins went to go fight in another fighting contest to win back Deanne's Gideon, Warhammer. It was the one where Helbrim attacks, where he's in that little jester type form. But basically, the reason I bring this up is because I think it's kind of a symbolism thing. In Season 1, they went there for a fighting contest to get Gideon's hammer back, her physical prowess. But this season, I think all the Sins are going to meet there, and they're going back to get Deanne's memory. Her essence. The first time was for her physical prowess. This time it's for more of her like essence of who she is. And I see 3 ways this going down. Number 1, the most likely. They get there, Gother's going to be there, and the Sins are going to be like, Gother, give back her memory right now. And Gother's like, I didn't know it was wrong. Gives back her memory. The second way I could see it happening, a little less likely. A catalyst, a trigger word, something happens. She gets there, maybe she sees Meliodas, the love of her life, or king or something. She's like, headache, memories, I remember everything. I doubt that just because of how strong Gother's power is. I don't think she can just overcome it that way. Or the third way, Matrona or another Sin will win the competition, and if the demons are really nice, they'll actually give them a wish, and they'll wish for Deanne's memory back. So those are the 3 ways I see it. I'm assuming Gother's just going to give her memory back. Because it's not like Gother is like trying to be bad, but it's just he doesn't understand. So I'm assuming as soon as they explain it to him, he'll be like, oh yeah, here's your memory back, sure. Okay, enough about Deanne and her stupid side story. Let's skip on over to Meliodas. This is just a quick scene. They're at the Boar Hat. Meliodas is also holding a flyer. Don't know how he got it. They're all inside, but whatever. He's like, oh, a fighting contest? That seems cool. But Hendrix kind of butts in. He's like, hey, you know Escanor, the strongest one like out of all of you, and we have to go fight 10 freaking demons? Maybe we should go find him. And Meliodas is like, no, oh, we lost the trail in his sense a long time ago. We have no idea where he is. We should go to this fighting things in the meanwhile. And everyone in the room is like, Meliodas, you know this is a trap. You know it's the demon clans that are making this event. You know that, right? And he's like, it will be fine. Let's just go. So you have everyone at the Boar Hat going there now. And that includes Meliodas, Hawk, Elizabeth, Merlin, and her little, I don't know, her projecting form. You have King Arthur. You have Gilthunder. You have Hendrix. Am I missing anyone? Oh, and Gother. And you have Gother. So you have all of them heading on over. Oh, also you have Hauser. And a really interesting thing I saw on the wiki, I hope this isn't spoiler, so if you think this is spoiler, skip ahead 10 seconds. But on the wiki, it states Holy Knights, the only Holy Knights are Hendrix, Dreyfus, and then Dreyfus' older brother that was killed at the very beginning of the show. And Hauser. There were 4 Holy Knights. And I always thought Hauser was under Gilthunder and Gilthunder was over Hauser. But Gilthunder is only a diamond rank under Holy Knight. So I'm assuming this is what happens later on in the manga and not currently in the anime. Maybe, I don't think, there's no way it's currently in the anime. Hauser's not a Holy Knight right now. Maybe it's just an error on the wiki. But anyways, saw that. I was very confused. If you guys know what's going on, comment down below. Let's move on. So, everyone at the Boar Hat is heading over to Vaizel for the fighting competition. Everyone with me? The next scene is pretty important. We can kind of interpret a little more about the commandments. What you have is, you know those demon-looking flying things that were dropping the flyers I said earlier? Well, they fly to this massive rock. Just this godly-looking rock. It's not a mountain, it's just a rock. For all we know, maybe it was a mountain, the commandments just chopped the top off. But at the very top, we have 2 commandments. We have Droll and Glycina. And the demon flying birds land there, and they're answering to Glycina. And she's the one that has all those green tentacles around her, like hentai porn or something like that, around her. So those birds are answering to her. And what we can glean from this is one big thing. Droll is a giant. In the 7 Deadly Sins, there's a bunch of different clans. We know we have the human clan. We have the giant clan. We have the demon clan. We have the goddess clan. We have the droid clan. I think there's some other clans, but there's no way that Droll is not from the giant clan. We're actually confirm this later on in the episode. But he is just this giant beast of a giant. Like, when I say giant and I say beast of a giant, I mean he's bigger than a normal giant, and he has frickin' 4 arms. He's gonna take you down. Droll is actually my favorite commandment aesthetically wise. We haven't really seen him in battle, so we don't know too much about his battle prowess, but I'm assuming he's just a frickin' heavy hitter since he's a giant and he's huge. So anyways, we just get that quick scene, and now we're gonna cut over to Deanne. And Deanne is doing something very interesting. She is dancing, and she's thinking like, she's narrating what she's doing in her mind. And she's like, oh, this is so much fun. I don't know what Matrona was talking about earlier, but I just love moving freely. But as she's doing this, we notice that she is, in fact, moving in sync with nature. All the animals stop, and they're staring at her. As she's dancing, granted, she's a giant, so the earth is trembling. These animals aren't scared away. And she's making flowers literally bloom. So, I was going to brush over this before, but the more I thought about this, the commandments right now are just too OP for pretty much any of the 7 Deadly Sins to take on, besides maybe Escanor. I feel like all of the sins need a power-up. With King, he got his True Spirit Chastity Fall. With Meliodas, he got his power-up. Escanor's already too OP, who cares? With Deanne, I think she's going to get more, when she regains her memory, I think she's going to get more in sync with nature, and she's just going to be able to control more Earth and make more devastating attacks. And I think that's what they're foreshadowing with this dance. Like, not only can giants kind of manipulate the Earth, they have such a strong soul tie to the Earth that if they really cultivate that feeling towards the Earth, they can manipulate it even more and make more devastating attacks. Just by her dancing, she literally was making flowers bloom. So that's very impressive. But anyway, she's dancing like an idiot, but you get some good fan fiction there, some good old wank bank material with her skirt. But as she's dancing, you hear a scream. And Matrona runs out to a field to find her 2 adopted kids bleeding and like laying there. And one of the demon flying birds that was delivering the flyers apparently didn't go back to her master and was just about to kill them. And Matrona just like grabs them and rips them in half. We cut over back to her little house with her husband, Zalpa. They're laying in the hut sleeping with blankets over them. Deanne's like, hey, are they going to be okay? And the funniest thing is, Matrona is worried shitless. She's like, oh my word, they're gonna die. We gotta do something. And Zalpa's sitting there like, oh no, they're near death. The wounds that demon inflicted on them will kill them in a matter of time. So yeah, he just has shown no emotion. Maybe he was too distraught, but he was sitting there like, yeah, they're gonna die. It's whatever. Cool. But then Matrona's like, F this is my fault since I wasn't paying attention. I'm going over to Vaizel, I'm gonna win the fighting competition, and then I'm gonna wish for our children to be safe again. And Zalpa's like, no, don't do that, it's probably a trap. You saw the bird that attacked us, and you saw the bird that delivered the flyer, so they're one and the same. Clearly this is fishy, but she didn't listen, she went off. And Zalpa kind of asked Diane's like, please take your war hammer and follow her and protect her. So she does that. And then you get one of the most interesting lines in this episode. As Matrona's walking away, she says like a one-line prayer. She says, God of our land, first ancestor, Droll, keep me safe. And we already know who frickin' Droll is. He's the giant in the Ten Commandments. So that is a huge thing we just found out about Droll. Remember how I was mentioning that picture earlier of that guy dancing? I'm assuming that Droll was that giant. Granted, I know he doesn't have 4 arms, but maybe something happened when he went over to the demon clan. I believe that he was the one that made that first dance, and his original dance was a devastating attack that would just level mountains and whole lands when he did this dance. I believe it was an attack, but as it was passed down, it became more and more just of a dance. And that's why I think when Deanne was dancing, she was kind of making nature listen to her. I think she's going to unlock the same kind of power that Droll has. And that's what I think. So, also, Droll is super old. We already knew he was 3,000 years old because of the whole gap with the demons being locked up. But being the first ancestor of the giants, he's probably way older than 3,000 years old, which is insane. So that's kind of what we know about Droll. And now we have all of the 7 deadly sins on the boar hat. We have Meliodas, Gother, and Merlin. We have 3 of them. They're heading to Phineas for the fight. And now we have Deanne heading over for the fight. So now we're just missing Bon, King, and Escanar. And guess what? They're all together, and they're all gonna freaking deliver beer, and I'm assuming it's gonna be to the boar hat. So I'm 95% sure in the next episode we're gonna have all 7 deadly sins at the same place where we have 2 commandments. So I think next episode shit's about to go down. But that doesn't matter because shit's going down right now. We jump over back to Dreyfus and Denzel's fight. So Denzel and Dreyfus are going at it. They're going ham. And we get a close-up. And this is probably my favorite attack so far in the series. It was super cool. Denzel, like, touches Dreyfus's chest and, like, makes a little squiggle mark. And then he's like, dead man's curse, and jumps away. And as soon as he says that, Hendrik just, like, explodes in blood. Like, a bunch of cuts just appear all over him. And you can kind of see in the background a bunch of dead people. Like, people that Hendrix has killed, a bunch of dead holy knights, and they're attacking Dreyfus. And Dreyfus is like, what is this black magic? And Denzel explains, it's a curse, and whoever wears the curse will be haunted by the people they have killed from their past for the rest of their life until they die. That is hardcore. It's not just like a one and done, you get attacked and it's done. Dreyfus, if he gets out alive, he has to deal with this curse forever. And basically, the one thing I was kind of curious about was, is it all the people that Dreyfus killed? Because, granted, that would still be a lot since Fraudron's been possessing him and killed a lot of people in his body. But it wouldn't be near as much if the curse did everyone that Fraudron killed. Because he's been around for 3,000 years. He's probably killed some pretty heavy hitters. So, that would be pretty bad if those people are possessing him. Or maybe it's Dreyfus and Fraudron's people that they killed in this combination. But anyways, at this point, Dreyfus is pissed. He's like, you know what? Now I have to deal with this the holy sword that you plunged into my shoulder. I have to deal with the people that have killed possessing me. I'm taking you out. Takes the sword. He's charging up attack, and he goes to attack. Granted, Denzel's like 10 feet in front of him, so I'm assuming what he was trying to do, he like thrust his sword out. It was going to make like a piercing like ray that was going to like shoot towards Denzel and like hit him. It wasn't the physical sword hitting him. But he does this, and he stands there like for 3 seconds. He's like, oh, what? Denzel kind of just scoots to the side, and the second he scoots to the side, the ground that Denzel was standing on just shatters apart like a freaking giant arrow had landed there. And then you see Dreyfus very confused, like, wait, what happened? Why isn't my magic working? And then you have my favorite member of the Pelagius of the Azura Skywalking, Death Pierce. And he comes in rambling like, oh, yes, magic is like music. If you do not control the rhythm and the tempo and the speed, then your magic will be thrown off. And basically what he's saying is his magical ability is to suppress and mess with your magical timing. So he comes in, Dreyfus is now being attacked by his haunted ghost. He has a pretty bad wound on his shoulder and is not healed yet because of the prayers from the droid clan. And his magical abilities all over the place. It's being suppressed, and he can't control it as much as he wants to. So at this point, Dreyfus is like, you know what? If I went all out, I could probably kill you, but screw this. I don't have time for this. He runs against the wall and is planning on just smacking a hole in it and getting out of here. But he's rejected, and guess why he's rejected? Because of the biggest cheat code in all 7 Deadly Sins, Perfect Cube. I don't understand this. So Perfect Cube, nothing can destroy it unless someone on the outside says, absolute cancel. Whatever. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of this magical spell. So Dreyfus is rejected, and he's like, crap, this is Perfect Cube, isn't it? And Denzel explains, yeah, my people on the outside, if they're not going to cast absolute cancel until we say so. So you're dying right here, right now. But guess what happens? The people on the outside are freaking morons. We skip to the outside of the building, and you have Arden, Delderai, and Walio. I know his name's actually Walio, but I just think that's funny. So you have all 3 of them sitting out there, kind of like, oh my word, we want to go to this fighting festival. It's no fair we have to sit here and babysit these people. And guess who walks up? Dogdo does. Remember that idiot that tried to fight Meliodas, and Meliodas just paired with his sword, and he broke his fingers apart? Well, Dogdo walks up, and he's like, hey guys, I just got back done reporting from the King Barta. You guys go have fun at the festival. I'll take over and watch for you guys. So they're like, oh, sweet, bro. I mean, we weren't given permission by our leader, Denzel, who's in there fighting a freaking demon, but I'm sure it's fine. You take over. And they run off to the fighting festival. And then we skip back into the room, and of course, like a great anime trope, when you have someone pinned up against the wall and you know you're going to defeat them, guess what? You're not going to defeat them. We get Dreyfus starts doing the mad laugh. His back is to them. He's like, oh, you thought you could defeat me. And they're like, wait, what? And right as Dreyfus is laughing, the absolute cancel just shatters all around them, and the doors open, and Dogdo walks in. Death Pierce is like, we've been betrayed, no! And Denzel, who is extremely smart, you're about to see, says, no, you're an idiot. Clearly that's not Dogdo. Hey, you, show your true form. And Dogdo's body starts to morph in this ungodly, demonic way, and it turns out it's Grey Road, the weirdest looking commandment, the one that's just like a floating black mask with a bunch of like little heads all over it. So he comes out and shows his true form. And Dreyfus is like, yeah, meet my friend, Grey Road. His commandment is pacifism. But if you guys would like to keep fighting us, you can. But if you do that, you're going to die no matter what you do, even if you kill me. So Death Pierce, he's ready. He got his sword out. He's like, I don't give a damn. We're going to fight you 2 commandments. But Denzel sheaths his sword. He's like, hey, we're going to let you get away this time. And Death Pierce was very inquisitive. He's like, wait, we can probably still take them. You know, with my magical ability, we can suppress their magic and take them out. And Denzel's like, no, did you hear what that commandment's name was? It was the commandment of pacifism. If you guys don't know what pacifism is, it's basically the belief in non-violence and being a pacifist. Not taking any action, not taking any violent action, just sitting by and letting it go. And so, just with the commandment's name and what Dreyfus said, like, even if you kill me, you're still going to die, Denzel was able to put together that Grey Road's commandment was, if you kill someone in his presence, you turn to stone, or you die. He was able to figure that out with those 2 things. He was very smart. Dreyfus even commends him, like, wow, you are very intelligent. So he's like, well, we're not going to kill you guys, but we're heading out. See ya. And as Dreyfus is walking out, he just takes out his sword, and he stabs Deldroid right through her stomach. Sword goes all the way through, pulls it out, and he's like, hey, I got a message from Dreyfus, the real Dreyfus from within me. Don't be kissing guys like that until you find the right one. Which I thought was hilarious. If Dreyfus really was in there and really saying that, I love how, like, that's what he's worried about. He's like, oh my word, Deldroid should not be making out with random strangers, even if that is her power to save her life. So I thought that was super funny. But basically, Deldroid has to die. I mean, right through her gut, right through her intestines, slit open. I'm assuming they're gonna save her somehow, but I really do hope she dies. I'm not a big fan of her character, and it would really help create more suspense, you know? Like, oh man, they're really strong, they're killing off characters. But anyways, you get this weird scene, I don't know why Dreyfus does it, but as Dreyfus and Grey Road are walking away, they're like, hey, I'm gonna give you a little insight on the commandments. Basically, he does the whole evil villain giving away his plan, and then the superhero knows and kills him. But he's like, I'm not a real 10 Commandment. I'm merely a substitute. And everyone's like, wait, what? Because at this point, Denzel and Death Pierce are all outside watching the 2 commandments walk away. And he's like, yeah, the real other member of the Ten Commandments, he was actually sadly lost to unseen circumstances, like 35,000 years ago, so 500 years before they were locked up. So it was like, yeah, so he was lost to unforeseen circumstances. But just 2 days ago during a battle, I felt his presence for the first time ever. And you guys better be scared shitless, because this commandment is one of, if not, the strongest commandment in our groups. And his name is none other than Gunter! Wait, no, take that, no, Gother, there we go, yes, that one. Yes, that is right, guys, Gother. He is a member of the 10 Commandments, but let me break it down real fast, because that's where the episode ends. As soon as Dreyfus says, you want to know who the real member is? It's Gother, and then we end the episode like that. Okay, so it was a great episode, but I want to clarify some things. Gother, I'm not doing any spoilers. This was everything that we can just kind of take from the anime and do some speculation. I don't believe Gother is the actual member of the Ten Commandments. And the reason why, if you remember like on the third or so episode where Merlin and everyone is fighting against Galden, and Gother's the one that puts the fake memory in his mind, thinks he kills everyone. Well, Merlin puts Gother back in his original state, and he's a doll. What are dolls used for? He was a puppet. They said he was a puppet. What are puppets used for? You need someone to control the puppet for the puppet to be used. So I'm assuming the real Gother, back like 3,500 years ago, before he was affected by his own commandment, because Dreyfus states Gother broke his own commandment, therefore lost his memories. Makes sense. Gother can work with memories. Anyways, so the real Gother, 3,500 years ago, before he broke his commandment, he knew he was going to break it. He was like, I'm going to break this. I'm going to be turned to stone or locked up or something bad's going to happen. I'm going to make this puppet. This Gother. He's not going to be near as powerful as me. He's not going to have the memory of me, but I'm going to make him and I'm going to put him in the world. He does that. Gother gets put into the world. He finds the 7 deadly sins, and that's how he becomes a part of them. And that's why Gother is so weird. He can't be killed. He was decapitated. He doesn't really have any memory of his past. He doesn't really have any idea of who he is or what humans are. He's not a human. So that's the reason why our Gother is always taking away people's memories and doesn't have any like feelings towards anyone, because he's a puppet. He's just being controlled. So that just begs the question, where's the real Gother? When is he coming out? Because there's no way they just introduced this whole idea of a real Gother out there and never going to show us who he is. So that's my final thoughts on that. The biggest thing in this episode that we found out is about Droll, how he was the first ancestor of the Giant Clan, and kind of how he fights maybe via dancing. And then we found out that Gother is one of the 10 Commandments, but not our Gother. I don't see him like trading, becoming a traitor. Like when they get to Vaizel, he's like, haha, I am actually a 10 Commandment, and goes over there and fights him. No, I think he's going to stay good the whole time, but I'm assuming we're going to get the real Gother that's going to come out. So those are the two big things that probably played into this episode. We got to meet 3 new commandments, Droll, Glycina, and Grey Road. I don't think we know Droll or Glycina's commandments. But anyways, that wraps it up for this review of episode 15 of the 7 Deadly Sins. See you guys next week. I should be putting a video out later on the Hero Killer Stain from My Hero Academia. But first I'm going to go drink this Gatorade and eat ramen because I live a healthy life. Anyways, peace out, guys.